This is amazing. Hi everybody, welcome and welcome back to my channel. My names are now Alex and I've been living in South Korea for 4 years now, and I just wanted to make a video of things that I have learned so far living in Korea and obviously growing older. The first thing I've learned is never consider people who do not consider you. It took me a very long time to learn this because I just liked keeping friends and having people around me, but then I would forget to make sure that people considered me as well as much as I considered them, right? The next thing that I have learned from living overseas is to save money for emergencies. One of the scariest things about moving overseas that people don't really talk about is especially when you move by yourself, is the fact that when you do move by yourself, you kind of like have yourself to rely on. Like there's nobody else. Like you literally just by yourself essentially. So the decision that you make when you decide to move overseas is essentially saying that you're gonna like take care of yourself. And this also means in emergencies, you need to make sure that you're okay. You need to make sure that you're covered. So that's another important thing that I have learned. Save money for emergencies. It is so important. I went to the hospital last August, and even though my health insurance covered some, I was in hospital for 2 days, admitted. Was it 1 day? 2 days? 2 days. But I had a very expensive procedure done, and even though my health insurance covered some of it, it wasn't all of it. It was super expensive, and I'm just so grateful that I had a good sum of money that was just saved up for that, because if I didn't have that, I don't know what I would have done. Genuinely, I don't know what I would have done. And another thing is you need to be very comfortable with yourself when you decide to move overseas. It's, I don't even know how to describe it. You know how when you're at home, you always have people? Like even if people are not in your house, but you always know that people that you love are in close proximities. That is not the case here. You need to be comfortable with doing things on your own and spending time by yourself and kind of like being your own friend. It is... You need to have a very strong sense of self, because living in a foreign country by yourself can break you. Genuinely, it can break you. This is why I also think prayer is very important. If you're somebody that believes in God, or believe in whatever you believe in, make sure that the thing that you believe gives you strength. You stay connected with it so much, because that can help you when you're feeling, because staying overseas is, people glamorize staying in a different country, and that's just glimpse of it is part of it, but it's not like your everyday. Living overseas, living in a different country is very difficult, especially when you live by yourself. It is the most difficult, and it only clicked this year that this is actually a very scary thing that I'm doing. Because I live by myself, right? When you're living in a foreign country, you're essentially your own emergency contact when you think about it. Yeah, there are people around you, but you are your own emergency contact. And that is so scary, because you're like, what if something, God forbid, something happens? Like when I was admitted to hospital, there was somebody who helped me. And even though they were a terrible person, the story for another day, I'm always going to be grateful for that fact that they actually were there for me at that point in time in my life. Even though the things that they did so many bad things that it's like that one good thing kind of like doesn't save them. But I was very grateful that I had somebody when I got admitted into a hospital, and I'm forever going to be grateful for that. The fact that the person was there for me in that time, because I literally had nobody, and even people who wanted to help me couldn't, Because, for example, if you work in Korea as a teacher, and you kind of make friends with other teachers, they can't really take time off to help you because of the type of job that we do, especially if you get sick in like a random time when it's not like school vacation, everybody's still working. It makes it a bit of a challenge, especially when you stay by yourself. So that is one thing. It is a very scary thing. You need to make sure that you're okay with just being by yourself. You're okay with doing things by yourself. You're okay with being alone, essentially, because that's what it is. When you move to a foreign country, you go by yourself, you go alone. And if you are somebody that's an introvert that doesn't particularly find joy in going to clubs, where you can actually, because people normally say, if you want to meet people, go to clubs, there's always people to meet there. If you are somebody that doesn't find joy in those types of things, it's going to be a bit hard for you to meet people, because a lot of people like, I'm not saying everybody, but a lot of people like to go to clubs. So if that drains you when you do that, you're obviously not going to go as often, right? Like myself. So again, that's going to kind of like isolate you a bit more, because it's going to be a bit more of a challenge to meet people. And some people like K-pop, they're into K-pop, pop culture. And if that's not your thing, again, this is me, I'm not into K-pop. So again, I would say I'd go to like K-pop concerts. That's another place that you could meet people. I'm not into K-pop. So that's another challenge. So if you're somebody that's not too much into clubbing and you're not too much into K-pop, and you might have a bit of a challenge meeting friends if you decide to come to South Korea, right? Because I think people that are supposed to be my friends are obviously like me. They're also at home watching TV. So the chances of us meeting are very slim, right? And on top of that, I don't really go to bars or stuff like that. I don't enjoy that type of atmosphere. Not to say it's there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. I just don't. I've tried it. This is not to say I haven't tried going. I have went, and I was like, yeah, I keep coming here, but I don't really find joy in it. So I kind of like just stopped going, because I was like, yeah, I'm not finding joy in this. So I feel like there's no point in me doing it. It's, yeah, if you go overseas, you need to also be mindful of the fact that if you are somebody who's a bit more introverted, who doesn't go to clubs much, who doesn't go to bars much, that perhaps it might be difficult for you to find people like you, because people like you are obviously at home as well. They're at home, they're in the house thinking about the same thing. How can I meet people? I don't want to go to the bar. I don't want to go to the club. So that is something that you also kind of need to keep in mind, and know that if you decide to move overseas, you might run into that might be a problem. So you need to be very comfortable with yourself and your own company and doing things by yourself. Yeah, that's another thing that I have learned. And another thing that I have learned is, this was actually a very difficult one for me. Oh gosh. It was the fact that when you live in a foreign country and death hits you really hard, oh my gosh, a death of a family member hits you super hard. It becomes super difficult for you to deal with that. Last year, my grandmother passed away. Oh my gosh, I felt like I don't even know how to explain it. And in my first year, when I first got here, my cousin passed away. A cousin that I loved so dearly, my cousin brother. It broke my heart so much, and I guess I didn't realize until there was a second death in my family and I was still overseas. I was like, yeah, I didn't take it well. So I feel like death is already a difficult thing as it is, but I feel like knowing that you have no real support system, even if you have people who care about you, they're not your family. So it's not the same. And yeah, it's very difficult to deal with death when you live in a different country than your family. So that's another thing that I discovered, and yeah, it's not a good feeling at all. At all. And another thing that I have discovered is that if you're a black girl, you need to learn to do your hair. Okay, those little things, especially if you go to a predominantly non-black place, you need to learn to do basic hair caring stuff for yourself. That will save you so much oh gosh, sorry. That will save you so much heartache, because when you go to a place that doesn't have a lot of people that look like you, it becomes very difficult to find people to do your hair, because your hair is obviously not the same as the people in that country. So you need to at least know how to do the basics. And even if there are people who can help you do your hair, they're normally in big cities, and it's normally a chunk of money. Like, it's a chunk of money. I mean, if you're comfortable spending a chunk of money every time you want to wash your hair, you want to just retouch, that's all absolutely okay. However, I feel like it's beneficial for you to just learn how to take care of your hair, like basic hairstyles. Even if you don't know, like myself, I had to learn to learn how to do braids. They're not perfect, but it's good because I also live in a small town, and here there's nobody within 30 kilometers from me that can do my hair. Yeah, it's very important that you know how to take care of your hair, how to do basic hairstyles. I learned through YouTube, so thank you, YouTube. Thank you, black creators on YouTube, because they literally taught me basic hair care for my hair type. So I learned how to do my own braids. Even though they're not perfect, I'm always so proud of myself. I'm like, yes, I don't have to pay so much money. More importantly, I don't have to travel. Another thing that I have discovered is that when you are overseas and you kind of like have plans, you know, when you get any type of job, you kind of have plans for yourself. Like, I want to achieve this, and that. In the process of trying to achieve those goals, you're going to have to sacrifice some things. And sometimes you might find that your life becomes so ordinary because you don't really do much for yourself, like fun things, as much, because you're trying to save this money so that you can achieve this dream. And sometimes when you look on social media and you see people having fun, you're like, oh my gosh, I wish I could do that. It's okay to be bored. Oh my gosh, I had to learn this. It is okay to be bored. Boredom is good, especially when you're working towards something. It is important to be bored, and it's okay to be bored. You don't need to always be doing stuff, especially if you have like a goal and something that you want to achieve within a certain time period. It is okay to stay at home and watch TV and read a book instead of spending money and trying to do things for social media, or just, it's okay to be bored. However, on the other side of that, it is also okay to do things once in a while. That's just another thing that I have observed, that it's okay to be bored. You can't do everything, especially because you have your goals. People have different goals. And another thing is, I feel like as people, sometimes we tend to compare ourselves. So it's also important to know that to compare yourself is a disservice to yourself, honestly. Comparing yourself to other people is a disservice to yourself, because you don't know people's backgrounds, you don't know what people have at their disposal. So it's important to be content with what you have and to remember your goals. Yeah, don't get carried away in the now thinking, oh, now work, I can spend my money. No, remember the main goal. And it's okay to be bored. And take care of your health. This is something that took me a bit longer to start actively doing that. Like, I wasn't reckless with my health. However, I was also not actively working to make my health better, right? So that's one thing I learned. I learned that it's very important to work on your health, to take care of yourself. And if you're somebody like me who doesn't have fun doing some of this health stuff, It's okay, but just try, you know. I'm trying. Listen, it's not fun, but I'm trying. And that's all you can do. Try. Keep on trying, keep on trying, keep on trying. Eventually you'll see the difference. Yeah. These are the few things that I have observed or learned in my 4 years living in this country and in getting older. And also another important thing is relax. Stop putting yourself under so much pressure. Have fun a little, relax, you'll be okay. This is a note to me and to you, the person watching this. Relax, you're still gonna get there. Don't think, oh, I'm behind. You're not behind. You're exactly on your timeline, essentially. You are on your timeline. I am on my timeline, you are on your timeline. And sometimes it might not feel like it. Sometimes you feel like you don't know what you're doing. You feel like you're lost. You feel like, what's gonna come? It's okay. We'll figure it out. And I had to learn this because I was like, before now, at some point in my life, I wasn't sure what was going to happen to me. And yet here I am, right? So as much as I'm not sure what's going to happen to me later, I'm obviously going to get there, right? So stressing about it doesn't really help you much, except to give you stress and ruin your day. So let's try to relax and enjoy the little things. And to know that even though we're not sure what's happening, because I'm sure I'm not the only person who feels like this, even though we're not sure what's happening, we'll get there. Because we were somewhere back there before now. We were somewhere and we still weren't sure, and we're here now, right? So then even though we don't know what's coming, we'll get there, right? Right. So yeah, let's just relax a bit. We'll be okay. Yeah. And next week I am going for a health checkup. Other video I had mentioned that I was told that I had fibroids. I'm gonna find out next week if my fibroids grew more or if they're still the same. I'm honestly hoping for good news, but we'll find out when I go next Saturday. And yeah, thank you so much to everybody who watches my content, and I will see you guys in my next upload. If you watched till the end, I truly appreciate you. Goodbye. I will see you next time, darlings. Bye.